Wait for this to go, even though it's probably going already. Hey, this is Rick. Welcome to Spit Take Wrestlecast, Shooting Star Press, and I'm here with Zach. Say hi, Zach.
Well, hello, Zach.
And we're a couple days late, but we figured we'd give a little post elimination chamber talk and pre Raw talk because you know, we got stuff to do. We get busy. But yeah, Saturday was a little busy, and Sunday I thought I was going to a Pacers game, but apparently that was on Wednesday. So I got it free through veterans. Veterans get free tickets sometime, and I thought it was Sunday, but it was Wednesday. So I moved all my schedule for Wednesday, so I'm getting free tickets to the Pacers Pelicans on Wednesday, so that's exciting.
Pacers looking good too.
Yeah, they're 2 games ahead of the Bulls. I'm really a Bulls fan. I've never been to a Pacers game. I was like, why not? I'm a Hoosier now. I've been here for almost a decade. I'm really from Chicago, but figure if I've been here for a decade, I can consider myself a Hoosier by now.
We'll get you a full size Tenderloin and a Pacers jersey.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Bulls, they've been sitting at the 9 spot forever. I don't know if they're going to make it into the playoffs. I mean, but let's get started. I know there's been a rumor, I don't know how confirmed it is, that Stephanie McMahon's been in on kind of hiding Vince McMahon's shenanigans. What's that?
I'm just saying, if that's the case, that's huge. And the scary part about it, does that mean that Triple H knows, or did he help? Because
I've heard that's why Shane McMahon left the company in the first place, was because of Vince.
Well, because supposedly now it's saying because of the this issue, but when back in the day he was basically complaining that Stephanie and Triple H were kind of like forcing their way in, and that he wasn't getting listened to about his ideas. Like, he tried getting Vince to buy the UFC before
right.
Dana White and the Fertittas bought it.
Well, yeah, Vince never thought it would be a big thing.
Yeah, and now they're multi-billion-dollar partners. So
right. Yeah. Well, I was listening to Jim Cornette a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying like Triple H and Stephanie were trying to vote Vince out of the company for years because of all these shenanigans.
Not to mention,
but
it's like, not to mention this, but just the creative deal. But this stuff is, yes, far worse.
But I don't think Jim Cornette's got all the information either. I don't think he knows everything. And this is in the mid 2000s. I think he was more on the TNA side with Vince Russo fighting with Vince Russo and on that side of things then. Because I don't think Vince McMahon went full sexual harassment crazy. Back in the 90s, that's where he was protecting wrestlers from pedophilia and stuff, which, basically, Vince McMahon's been a nutbag his whole freaking career. So,
it just like adds like, there's a lot more truth to, like, you hear of like all the stories, like the way he's like covered up things, like Jimmy Fly Snuka, like his potential murder case, that they covered that up, and it's painting a pretty clear picture. I'd say that this has been going on for a long time.
But I don't think it started with Vince McMahon Jr. I
Oh no.
think this has been going on in the 70s, the 60s, the 50s. I think this went way before he was in charge. I think this is tradition. This is,
Oh,
you've always heard stories of, crazy wrestler stories. It's just all been swept under the rug. Wrestling's got a crazy history, and you're probably just hearing the surface of it all.
like that's what's the fascinating. Like we like get into talking about Dark Side of the Ring and documentary series like that, where you get to learn about like a lot of the darkness, dark stories that happen in and around the wrestling ring.
Well, you
Just
gotta think, like pro wrestling's like kind of mini Hollywood. You know what I mean? And Hollywood's got a dark side to it. Like it's all show
oh yeah,
business, and show business is really dark. Crazy people get involved in show business. Well, I'm not even to get into all that, but
oh, to get into that, to get into pro wrestling, you you have to have a screw loose to really pursue this type of stuff. So
oh
yeah,
yeah.
we
Well, to
can
get
understand.
involved with it and then continue doing it. Because, probably most of us when we were kids, we dreamed of doing it.
Oh yeah,
You get involved in it and say, you get involved in it and then you learn its dark secret and then to keep doing it. You see what I'm saying? That's a different story.
yeah.
And I'm sure there's plenty of good people in wrestling that said, I'm staying away from him, I'm staying away from her, and I'm staying away from them. You know what I mean? And then you got people like Tori Wilson who's sitting there saying, I'm looking back at all this and I'm just disgusted at everything I did. You sat there and did it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you took the paycheck and you did it. Like, at what
Yeah.
point when you were doing it did you say, I am disgusted at this point? You waited
It's a,
20 years later to say I'm disgusted? Or, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It just seems odd to me.
but to be fair in that regards, like you've gone back to look at yourself about 10, 20 years. Like, what the hell was I thinking when I did that?
Yeah, but at that time, I knew I was doing something wrong. And I felt guilty about it the whole time. And I went and sought therapy for it. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I'd go back and I'd say, well, this whole time I felt wrong about it and I sought therapy about it and now I'm healed from it. She didn't say I felt wrong about it. I sought therapy about it and I healed from it. She said, now that I look back on it, it was weird. That's a different story. She's not saying she's looked at it as something wrong in the first place. She's saying,
Yeah.
oh yeah, give me that check. And now all of a sudden, oh, the crowd's going that way. Let's just jump in. I mean, I'm probably going to get canceled here. I don't care. I'm uncancelable. I'm a disabled vet. Whatever. I'm still getting that check. You know what I mean? But that's just my take. Like, if you were damaged in the first place, then you would tell me, I've been struggling with this for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, now you would be, it seems to me you would be struggling with this ever since. Not all of a sudden you're struggling with this. It just seems a bit delayed 20 years down the road. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's when you get into like what is it? She's doing pretty well and whatnot. When you end up factoring in like the stories of people that were pretty much destroyed by like these allegations and whatnot. Like, no, you're not necessarily one of the victims. You did
Right.
your part and had your fun. There's some other people like they're
That's what I'm
they're
saying.
actually hurting
Like,
from this.
like you listen to Francine's got some stories where they're like talking about how they were gonna pay her to do this and that, and she like I guess she kind of got fired because she's like, I ain't doing any of that shit. Like she's got some good stories when she first started, and she's like, no, I ain't getting involved in that. Because you're talking about Francine from the ECW days and stuff like that.
Oh, and they did some shit. They did some shit too, but hats off to her for sticking her ground, because a lot of people would be willing to, all right, just so you get that big paycheck that goes with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, and they do. There is a part of it where they are taking advantage, like with the whole what's her name, the girl that's doing it in the first place, the one that's doing the lawsuit in the first. What's her name?
The one that they actually hired and passed around and did all this stuff with.
The one that this is all about. Like, she is one that was down on her luck and blah blah blah. I guess she's bankrupt and stuff like that. She's this 21-year-old whose parents died. They were completely taking advantage of her, grooming her, and blah blah blah. There is a part of me that's like, yeah, this was like a year down the road, and you're still taking paychecks and stuff like that. At the same time, you are forcing yourself upon this woman. But on the other end, it's like, she is going to go to the police, and she's going to go to the police and say, Vince McMahon raped me. And the police are going to go to Vince McMahon and say, did you rape me? He's going to say, talk to my lawyer. And then his lawyer is going to get him out of it. And then he's not going to get anything out of it. You know what I mean? Well, so she's going to walk away and nothing's going to happen. So you see what I'm saying? There's a part of me that's like, yeah, Vince McMahon's going to get away with everything if this young lady does go to the police about it. Right. On the other end, there's me that's saying she's still walking in the next day to work. So it's a double-edged sword to me.
Yeah.
But I get both sides of it.
Very much so.
But at the same time, for me, again, like I've said many times before, it means nothing to me until Vince McMahon gets prison time.
You can't feel like stuff's proven in a court of law and sentencing actually goes down. Yeah, let's wait for that.
That's
I just love the fact when you're watching this whole thing unfold that Vince McMahon has repeatedly done everything so he can hang on to this company. Even the succession plans he's put in place through Triple H. Realize him rethinking it, second thoughts is no, I'm not giving up yet. No, you're not taking this away from me. Every single step that he's taken has led himself to this point to where he can't. The whole deal about him forcing himself back in when they stepped down was no, I have majority control. I own the most of the shares. If you want to sell the company, it's not going to happen with my okay. Forced himself right back in the board and right back position of power.
Right.
And he basically he worked this deal out to where he can, still remain control of the company even though he wasn't going to own it. But it set himself up for this exact scenario where, more allegations came in, or his stupid ass just, no, I'm going to stop paying this lady. So null and void this NDA. And it just forced him right out of his own company. The dude deserves everything that's coming to him at this point.
Apparently, and like we said a couple weeks ago, the NDAs were void because they didn't go through WWE's legal department. Anyways, they were.
And then on top of that, there is some sort of deal where this lady was going to get paid I think they said around $3 million a course of time, and he only paid $1 million and stopped the payments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're
and
gonna.
apparently that's a pattern for him too. That's not the first time he's done that.
Well, that's what he did to like pretty much all his all the old territories, all the old promotions, and all the old promoters.
Right.
He did this exact same thing, and they couldn't do anything about it because he pretty much bought up all their big name talent, and they couldn't
Right.
survive after that point.
Right.
It's a pattern of behavior for him.
Right. Well, either way, Vince McMahon, we all know he's a bastard, and hopefully he gets what's coming to him. And if Stephanie, if she's involved with it, hopefully she gets what's coming to her. Hopefully Triple H knows nothing about it.
I pray that he knows nothing about it, because under his direction, this is the most exciting WWE's been a long time. And
Right.
even, what was it? I did see last week, the Wrestling Observer newsletter, their awards that are voted by their readers, not by Dave Meltzer, but by their readers, voted WWE the #1 promotion in all of wrestling for the first time in 24 years. And that's by readers of the Observer. Yeah. It was like, they're doing a lot of things right now. And it's just gonna hurt if you find out that Triple H knew anything about this and helped cover things, and if he, God forbid, covered things up. Because then you're just like, what's gonna happen then?
It seems to me that Triple H was kind of trying, like, it seems to me Triple H is trying to stay out of things and trying to focus on his work, and he's kind of getting jerked around and kind of just being told what to do, and he's just doing it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It just, like with the whole NXT thing, that's what it seems to me. Like, yeah, you know how he was just kind of pulled from NXT. He's just like, okay, I'm just doing what I'm told. You know what I mean? Like, he's just staying out of shit. You know?
Well, it's, for the most part, it's worked pretty well for him. You know, you went from on-screen talent to one of their top performers, to getting a little bit into creative, and slowly built you up to now he's head of creative. And
as long as his name doesn't come up,
I really hope not.
TKO will release him. If his name comes up, TKO will release him.
And don't get me wrong, like, if he knew things, yes, he should face all repercussions and get sent out of there. I just hope he doesn't, because I'm digging Triple H's vision for WWE.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. And if not, you know, HBK's been doing a pretty good job with NXT and stuff like that. Okay. So hopefully there's
but again, it's like, how far does this go? Who all knows things? Right. What do people know?
You know, HBK has been the golden boy there for 40 years or 30 years or something like that. So,
and not to mention, he was a terror. I'm one of the biggest HBK fans ever.
Oh, yeah.
I argued with my dad all the time when I was little, because he was Bret Hart, I was HBK.
Right.
But, you know, he was a terror back then. So it makes you think, what does he know? If maybe he might know stuff, or stuff to kind of get himself out of trouble or whatnot. But again, it's how far is this gonna go?
HBK knows something. You know he does. He's been Vince McMahon's little boy there for a long time. You know. So getting into the first match at Elimination Chamber, we had the women's Elimination Chamber match. And I got to say, I was actually pretty excited about seeing Tiff Stratton, because I've actually enjoyed watching her the last couple weeks. The thing is, it seems like they've been confused about making her heel or face. Like she was a face, but then she came in like last night, like Friday night, she was a heel. And then she was like cheered like crazy during this match.
I think it's a situation where she's kind of meant to be a heel character right now, but she's pretty much like so beloved by the fan base right now that it's almost turning her face.
She was, I think this match pretty much turned her face, or made her loved by the fan base.
They gave her a good showcase on this match. Like it was pretty fun to watch.
She was booed when she got eliminated. Or not, she was booed, but
Liv Morgan was booed
when they got eliminated. I'd say this was a pretty good match. I'd probably give this an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this match.
You're doing that. I would go, 7.5, 8 out of 10. It was a good fun match. Nothing too impressive, but again, like I think me and you've talked about it, that this was fairly predictable show, but it's pretty much just locking things in for WrestleMania anyway.
I'd say this is probably the least predictable match, though, with Becky winning it.
Yeah.
Because, like, you probably didn't, like, this could have gone either way with the women's championship. I'd say this is probably the most unpredictable match. Like, anybody could have won this one. Becky was probably the most likely because she's probably the top woman here. I feel like she's getting a lot of hate, but she's probably the one horsewoman that hasn't main evented WrestleMania that probably should.
Oh, she did.
Oh, no.
She did.
Bailey is. Never mind.
Yeah. I think it's more or less it was going to either be her or Bianca Belair, probably, because it just seems like they're just trying to make the biggest match they can for the world title. They don't got really anything story wise, so it's more or less about one of our biggest women's stars versus our other biggest women's star who's the champion, and just big stars going at it at WrestleMania. Pretty much. Yeah. There's not really a whole lot of story. It's just more or less just another feather in the cap of, if Rhea Ripley is able to take out Becky, or Becky get like another world title.
Yeah. And I do think Bianca is probably better suited to go against Rhea as far as the matchup goes. Power versus
in terms of
power.
Like power for power. Yeah.
But Becky knows how to put on a show. Becky knows how to put on a match. Oh, yeah. So I can go
big time back.
I can go either or. So I mean, I'm good with Becky.
Either was a safe bet.
Yeah.
And pretty much this match, which we'll get in probably a little bit more into when we talk about the main event. But this makes this women's world title match probably the most likely, if they're going to put it as a main event of maybe night one. This one's probably the more likely between this and the other women's title match.
Yeah.
Just because Rhea's easily probably the biggest female star they got going right now at the moment. And Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair aren't too far away, so I guess like you got your biggest female star right now on a hot streak. So have her go up against, one of the biggest name female stars you've had going in a long while. But she's already got the victory against Charlotte Flair now at WrestleMania. So having her have a victory against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, that's a nice little bit for her legacy.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to find what was the next match. The next match was tag team match, right?
Tag title match.
Yep. Tag title match. It was Damian Priest and Finn Balor, Judgment Day against New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I really
love those guys.
I really like New Catch Republic. This was an excellent, even though I knew what was going to happen, this was an excellent tag team match, dude. And I gotta say, Tyler Bate, I really like him. He is probably one of the most innovative wrestlers I have seen in a long time, probably since, I gotta say, Chris Kanyon. And
what was it?
What's that?
Well, I was saying he was the first United Kingdom champion, and he won at 20. They gave them the belt at 20 years old.
Damn.
And I'm right there with you. I love Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
Like them tag teaming each other, them as rivals.
Great, yeah.
That United Kingdom title match between them two at NXT TakeOver. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but just a stellar freaking match. If you get a chance to go back and watch it,
cool.
But yeah, them two, they are great as rivals. They are great as teammates. Just great, innovative offense. I love the way he will bounce off the ropes, but diving shooting his head down and his shoulders and arms going over the top rope, bouncing and coming right back for the clothesline. It's awesome spot. But yeah, they are, and they really sell that he is just this little powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's built like a porta power, like this tiny package, but so much strength in there.
Right. And they work so well together. I think they're future tag team champions. And Damian Priest and Finn Balor. I think Dominic Mysterio is about the best heel in the company.
That is a clear consensus between everybody. Yep.
He is the new Miz. He can draw heat about anywhere. You can put him anywhere. He doesn't need to have a title. He can have a title if he wants, but he doesn't need to. Just put him anywhere just to be a heel.
The greatest thing is just like every time he just pulls up a microphone and just starts to speak, the crowd just overdo him with boos.
He
never seen that before.
To where it's so loud that he can't hear himself think.
It's just when you're able, as a heel, you're able to get that response. Like, I don't know of a single heel that's ever gotten that type of response.
Right.
Like, no, we're not even going to let you talk.
Right.
That's how much we dislike you.
But it's definitely not a bad thing. It's definitely like...
It is in terms of heat, it is the right type of heat. Everybody's in on it. Everybody loves it.
It's a connection to the audience. It's a connection to the audience that everybody can feel. And it's a guy that if you saw him walking in the street, you'd go and be like, "I love you, man," and you'd high five him,
Yeah. What was it? It's like the term of X-Pac heat in terms of go away heat. Right. It's like, no, they don't like you.
It's not like that.
No, we love to hate him. We don't just hate him.
Right. But obviously Judgment Day walked off with that one. And they're probably going to keep that till WrestleMania. We'll see where that goes. Any other thoughts?
It just makes you think what's going to... I don't know, just great, solid tag match. Love the spots, everything. But it makes you do think, all right, when are we going to get to the point when when Damian Priest is going to cash in that his world title shot?
Yeah, they're not even talking about that.
Yeah, like he has the case. It's like no one like mentions that he has that case. He can cash it in whenever he wants. But like with them focusing on the tag titles, are they gonna keep the tag titles and he still gets to cash in and gets the world title? What's gonna happen with that?
But I enjoyed that match so much, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. I really did.
I,
I
I'm right.
actually had a.
I'm right there with you. Like I said, I love Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates. Like
And
that
and
smash
and
smack mouth
I always loved
British
the Judgment
style.
Day. And
Judgment Days is always fun to watch.
the Judgment Day is great too because it's so diverse. Like it's just a diverse cast of characters too. Like everybody's different, like ethnicities, different wrestling styles, different characters. A little bit, they have a woman as their leader. Like it's just a different group, and it's a very interesting group. I really like them.
It's like I said, they're featured a lot, and rightfully so. It's very entertaining. They're
Yeah.
what? They're almost half of Raw. They're like what? Hell, they bleed over into NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, they really got something with that.
And then next we had the Grayson Waller effect. Grayson Waller got to come out and talk to Australia. Austin came out and pissed everybody off, and Cody came out and talked. I forget even what they talked about. They talked about The Rock and all that stuff, and Seth Rollins came out and he wore some weird stuff and talked about finishing the story and stuff like that.
Was it Seth Rollins basically officially announcing that he, within the next few days or next week, will be fully released? So WrestleMania is a go for him. Then Cody Rhodes basically more or less, hey, my plan is set to fight Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. But till then, I got a lot of free time. So during that free time, Rock, why don't me and you get it on?
Right, yeah, he said he wanted to fight The Rock or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, it's all right. I don't know.
I don't want a fun little segment.
I don't, I hope it's not too predictable. Now I'm on the side that I want Roman Reigns to lose or win, and I want Roman Reigns to finish his story now because I think it'd be a little boring and predictable for Cody to win now. I don't know. Now I want Roman to beat Bruno Sammartino's record.
With half the time. Yeah, he'll beat Bruno Sammartino's record with like a quarter of the title defenses.
Right. No, and I don't want to go that far.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm curious. I know they can't be too predictable though. That's just my thing. Next we had the men's elimination chamber: Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, LA Knight. This was way too predictable. But
yeah,
I thought Logan Paul was funny. The way he trolled Kevin Owens with the marker.
Kevin Owens made the show. Kevin Owens made it for me.
Kevin Owens was good with the beating on the window.
Yes.
Bobby Lashley was there.
He didn't get much in.
Yeah, he existed. Randy Orton had a good showing, but I'm hoping he's okay. I didn't see any updates on him. He looked like he might have been hurt, but it might have been for show.
I was saying, like, if it was just for show, hats off to him for really making it look good.
Yeah, that's because I actually couldn't tell if he was hurt or not. But Kevin Owens had a good run with pop-up power bombs and stuff, to tell you the truth. And yeah,
like I said, he made the chamber for me.
he was banging his head against the glass and stuff like that. But Drew McIntyre walked out the winner. Pretty predictable. And you know, they've been hinting at the push for him anyways. And
supposedly I'm here. Don't know necessarily how true it is, but hearing a rumor that Seth Rollins is planning to take time after WrestleMania to heal up and whatnot. So if that's the case, most likely Drew's winning it, which I'd be really excited because Drew's probably putting in some of his best work right now. And for him to finally get that proper run on top with fans in the stands and everything, yeah, like well deserved. And if that is going to be the plan, there's a lot of fun matchups that can come out of that. Being that him and Jey Uso maybe trying to, finish their bad blood with each other. Not to mention if CM Punk comes back and he still has the title, that can be a fun world title feud right there. There's a lot of good stuff that could happen if Drew wins the belt.
Yeah, but the Money in the Bank's going to be cashed in on one of those, and I have a feeling it's going to be at WrestleMania.
That could be entertaining. Say if Seth somehow is able to win or about to win, just for somebody to pull the same thing he pulled and cashing it in at WrestleMania, yeah, that could be cool too.
I kind of want them to pull the swerve on Cody. Because I kind of don't want them to be predictable with Cody. I know everybody wants Cody to finish his story, but I just feel like it's just too predictable. I don't know.
If they did that, Damian Priest might surpass Dominic Mysterio as the number one heel in WWE.
I just want to watch the world burn.
Oh my gosh, people would. It would probably melt the internet.
I would laugh. But that would be awesome to me. I don't know. I would love it. But
it would be a very Dusty Rhodes. It would be a very Dusty Rhodes thing if just for Cody to finally win, just to get cashed in on and that title taken away from him.
Yeah, right when he wins it.
That would be the ultimate. It would be like the ultimate Dusty Rhodes thing to happen.
Oh my god. Oh, so many people would be pissed. That sounds like Vince McMahon storytelling. That's what people would be saying. And then last we had Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the World's Women's Championship. I did not watch this. I don't know why. I heard it was pretty good. I also heard Rhea carried the match for Nia. But obviously I knew Rhea was going to win this. So what are your thoughts of the match?
I don't think anybody was going to see anything. There's no way they're taking the belt off of Rhea. But yeah, it was all right. In terms of most part, Nia Jax is usually getting carried anyway. She's not the workhorse of the match. She's the attraction that usually the more skilled person will work around and whatnot. I don't want to say she's not Great Khali, but better? she's the person to help.
Is she as good a wrestler as Mark Henry?
No, because I'll give some credit to Mark Henry. Mark Henry's pretty solid wrestler, especially later time.
Mark Henry was good when he became that heel when he was world champion.
Oh, that
Like
was
that world
the run of his
champion run.
life.
Yeah. All right, and then predictions for Raw. We have Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Fun match.
Yeah, and a street fight match.
I want to give it to Sammy. I think they're gonna they maybe gotten a little cold with Sammy, but they still got a top star with Sammy, so maybe try to rebuild him up a little bit.
Well, they keep trying to semi-push him the last couple weeks. They've been kind of, well, I don't know if they've been pushing him, but they've been interviewing him, and he keeps talking like there's a path to the main event of WrestleMania for him.
I don't think that's happening.
That's what he's been saying in his interviews.
Yeah.
I don't know what they plan on doing for him. So the question is, what is this plan? What is this storyline they're trying to build for him? You know what I mean? So, and now they're advertising this match for him with Shinsuke.
I mean, they can, especially going off of their NXT matchup. I mean, if you know something that you're going to build up, that you're going to recreate that for WrestleMania, that maybe could have been something. But being you already had like multiple matches on Raw and whatnot, probably not the case. So I don't really know what you're going to build up for WrestleMania for Sammy here.
There's probably going. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just a quick little thought. Unless maybe you're gonna build up something with him and Gunther, that you kind of right now need to get to work on that. But that could be a fun match for WrestleMania, Gunther and Sammy.
Oh yeah. Well, Gunther is, who are they talking about? Well, he's probably going to lose IC match or IC title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, that'll wrap it up for today. We'll see you probably once or twice within the next before WrestleMania. I think that's our last stop. Anyways, any other comments before we wrap things up?
We did fail to mention in the Elimination Chamber of AJ Styles popping in there to to screw LA Knight, so most likely setting them up for WrestleMania, which we both pretty much talked in previous podcasts. That looks like what they were going to build up towards. So,
yeah, I knew there was a run-in somewhere too. Yeah, so that'll be something good too. And AJ Styles is definitely somebody that's a draw, and no matter what company he's in.
Again, he's a made man at this point. You're not going to bat an eye if you put him in the United States title picture, the world title picture, him facing Undertaker or whatever major legend at WrestleMania. He can do it all at this point.
Well, that's what I thought it was interesting because they were talking about Edge being an AEW and how he wasn't a draw for them. Even though I'm not looking at world ratings, I'm sure people around the world are watching Edge, but I guarantee you, if AJ Styles goes on AEW, I guarantee you he'll be filling some seats. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I mean, same with TNA. He was filling seats in TNA. People are still watching WWE for AJ Styles. People are excited for AJ Styles. Guarantee you somebody's buying an AJ Styles shirt. You know what I mean?
I'm probably be one of them.
I mean, for his athleticism alone, he doesn't even need that much of a personality. People are fans of AJ Styles, you know. Also, we'll probably see build up of the Usos. Even though Jimmy, there is I'm thinking there's probably the whole because Jimmy seems to be becoming more and more of an outcast.
Oh yeah,
he's like trying to vibe everybody, and they're all just ignoring him. You know,
he's like that one friend who's trying so hard to be a part of the group, but everyone else is like, don't really want, like, he doesn't gel, he doesn't like really vibe well with the group, but no one really wants to tell him to F off.
right.
But it's slowly building up to that point where they're about to tell him to F off.
Right. He's like their little bitch, you know, and you kind of feel bad for him. And oh my god.
It's like that character in the movie, like you feel bad for him because he's trying so hard, but then they go and do something that like just so egregious. It's like, oh no, F that guy. Really? Why would he go and do something like that?
Well, they showed both Jimmy and Jay's WW or the 2K24's ratings, and Jay's is like 84 and Jimmy's like 72. And you know, but Jay's like number 2 in shirt sales in the company.
Oh
like,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think either him or Gable's going to win the IC title. I think Jay, they actually said on, was it SmackDown or Raw this week, he fought Gunther. They actually said up until like 6 o'clock that night, they were going to have Jay win the IC title. Like they were dead set on it.
I did see that too.
So
I mean, and like rightfully so.
I think Jay's going to be the one to beat him, and probably at WrestleMania.
I don't think Jay's going to get the WrestleMania because it does look like it's going to be Jimmy and Jay at WrestleMania.
Oh, that's true.
Because you're going to settle the brother blood feud there. Then maybe if Gunther still has the title coming out of WrestleMania, yeah, I see that. And I can also see Chad Gable doing it too, but they got Jay, they have themselves.
Jay's eventually going to win it, though, I think.
He's at least going to get an IC title reign, but I could very much well see him getting a World Heavyweight title, at least a World Heavyweight title shot, and possibly eventually getting a World Heavyweight title win if he's still able to keep the momentum he's got going, because like you said, he's number 2 in shirt sales and whatnot.
That's what I'm saying. Fans love
they've
him.
They've made him into easily a main event level talent. Well, you were there when we went to Fastlane this last year. How hyped were the whole crowd when he came out for that tag match? Everybody in the crowd is waving their arms with him. It's cute. It's awesome to watch.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, make sure you check out Spit Take Podcast every Friday and throughout the week, and Spit Take WrestleCast, Shooting Star Press, and we'll see you later, and have a good one. Peace out.